The crystalline spires of the Galactic Council headquarters gleamed as three suns cast their light across the grand structure. Ambassador Jiwoo Park stepped carefully onto the polished floor of the council chamber, trying to hide her nervousness. Behind her walked Captain Do-hyun Kim and Science Officer Sungmin Ryu. They were the first humans to ever set foot in this sacred place. 27 alien species watched from their designated areas. Some floated in special atmosphere chambers. Others stood on platforms of varying heights. All eyes, some with multiple pupils, others with protective membranes, focused on the human delegation. "Welcome, representatives of Earth," said High Counselor Tarek. His voice was deep and melodic, his translucent blue body pulsing with each word. "Your journey to join our galactic community is historic." Jiwoo bowed slightly. "We are honored to be here." "Are you?" asked another council member. This one had 6 limbs and scales that shifted from green to red. "We have studied your broadcasts, your entertainment, your news, your history." The chamber grew quiet. "And what have you learned, Counselor Vrex?" asked Jiwoo. "That humans are dangerous," Vrex said bluntly. "Your planet has never known lasting peace. You spend more resources on weapons than most of our members spend on all technology combined." Captain Do-hyun stepped forward. "With respect, Counselor, we develop these capabilities because we must. Our history has taught us to be prepared." "Prepared? For what?" asked a small, bird-like alien. "The Council has maintained peace for 12,000 cycles." Sungmin Ryu cleared his throat. "And that is admirable. But humans have learned that peace must sometimes be defended." The Council members exchanged glances. Some made clicking sounds. Others vibrated in patterns that the translation devices couldn't capture. "Show them," ordered Tarek. A large screen appeared in the center of the chamber. It displayed images from Earth's history: wars, weapons, training exercises, military parades. "You call yourselves peaceful," said Vrex, "yet your planet has known more conflict than any world we have encountered." Jiwoo watched the images with a heavy heart. "We don't deny our past, counselors, but these wars taught us to value peace more deeply." "An interesting claim," said Tarek. "Yet your entertainment glorifies combat. Your children play games of war." "Because we fear it," Jiwoo replied. "We remember its cost. These stories are warnings, not celebrations." The council deliberated for 3 Earth days. The human delegation waited in special quarters, wondering if their journey across the stars would end in rejection. On the 4th day, they were called back to the chamber. "We have reached a decision," announced Tarek. "Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council." Relief washed over the humans, but it was short-lived. "However," continued Vrex, "there will be restrictions. Certain technologies will remain off-limits to humans. Certain sectors of space will be closed to your ships, and all human vessels will carry council observers." "For how long?" asked Do-hyun. "Until we are convinced that humans can be trusted," replied Vrex. "Your species appears to exist in a state of contradiction. You claim to desire peace while perfecting the arts of war." Jiwoo stepped forward. "We accept these terms, but hope to show you that there is no contradiction. Our understanding of conflict is precisely what makes us value harmony." As the delegation prepared to return to Earth with news of their conditional acceptance, Counselor Vrex approached them privately. "Warning," the alien said, scales flashing dark red. "I have studied your kind more than any other council member. I understand you better than you think." "And what do you understand?" asked Jiwoo. "That humans fear war," said Vrex, "yet cannot seem to avoid it. This makes you unpredictable, dangerous." "We hope to prove otherwise," said Do-hyun. "Perhaps," Vrex replied. "But remember this warning, humans. The Council watches you closely. One misstep, and your world will be isolated again." As their ship departed, Jiwoo looked out at the massive Council station growing smaller against the stars. "They don't understand us," said Sungmin. "No," agreed Jiwoo. "They've known peace so long they've forgotten its price." Will they ever trust us? Asked Do-yun. Ji-woo watched as the station vanished among the stars. I don't know, but I have a feeling that someday they may need us more than they realize. None of them could have known how prophetic those words would become, or how soon the Galactic Council would learn why humans' complex relationship with war might be the very thing that would save them all. 5 years passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. Humans had spread throughout allowed sectors of space, building trade posts and research stations, but they were not truly accepted by the older species. Commander Jun-ho Lee stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Horizon, staring at the red warning that flashed on his screen. Another exclusion order, he said with a sigh. That's the 5th one this month. Science Officer Mina Yoon looked up from her station. Where is it this time? The entire Orion sector, Jun-ho replied. No, explanation given. Just human vessels prohibited effective immediately. Mina frowned. That's where those strange energy readings were detected. The same readings the council told us were just natural phenomena, Jun-ho said. He ran his hand through his short, black hair, a habit when he was troubled. Something isn't right. On the main viewing screen, a sleek blue ship with the markings of the Akron species glided past them. Similar ships had been appearing near human vessels with increasing frequency. They're watching us, said Navigation Officer Jinsu Park. Making sure we stay in our place. Or learning from us, Jun-ho said quietly. Have you noticed how some council ships are starting to use our formation patterns? Back on Mars, Ambassador Ji-woo Park was having a difficult meeting with Defense Minister Taeyong Kang. Our intelligence is clear, said Taeyong, sliding a data pad across the table. 3 council species are deeply studying human military history. The Akrans have translated our ancient texts on warfare. The Vrel are analyzing Earth's battle tactics from the last 5 centuries. Ji-woo looked at the evidence with concern. They mock us for our violent past, yet study it in secret. Because they fear us, said Taeyong. But there's more. He showed her images of strange energy patterns in deep space at the edge of the Orion sector. These readings are unlike anything in council records, said Taeyong. And when we requested permission to investigate, we were denied. 3 times. They don't trust us with whatever is out there, Ji-woo said. Or they don't want us to know. What they're hiding, Taeyong replied. I have a plan, but it will require bending some council rules. 2 weeks later, the science vessel Discovery left Mars, officially on a mission to study plant life on distant planets. The real mission, known only to a few, was to investigate the strange energy readings in restricted space. Dr. Hyunwoo Choi led the mission, with a small crew of scientists and 1 military advisor, Captain Ji-hye Song. Are you sure about this? Ji-hye asked as their ship approached the edge of the Orion sector. If the council catches us, Earth could lose its membership. Some risks are worth taking, replied Hyunwoo, checking his instruments. Besides, we're officially just off course due to a navigation error. The Discovery slipped quietly into the restricted zone, sensors extended to maximum range. For 3 days they found nothing unusual. Then on the 4th day all their instruments began to react. These readings are impossible, whispered Mina, who had joined the mission from the Horizon. It's like something is waking up. Through the viewing port they saw a distant star flicker strangely. Not a natural flicker, but a pattern. There's an artificial structure around that star, said Hyunwoo. Massive. Ancient. How old? Asked Ji-hye. Based on the dust patterns. At least 50,000 years, Hyunwoo replied. Long before any current council species achieved space travel. Their scans revealed more. The structure was powering up, systems activating after millennia of dormancy. The council must know about this, said Mina. That's why they've been keeping us away. But why hide it? Asked Ji-hye. Before anyone could answer, their sensors detected approaching ships. Council vessels, moving at high speed toward their position. We've been spotted, said Hyunwoo. We need to leave. Wait, said Ji-hye, studying the sensor data. Download everything first. Whatever this is, Earth needs to know. As they transferred the data, they watched the distant star flicker again. A pattern that seemed almost like a language. "It's communicating," whispered Mina. The Discovery turned and raced away from the restricted zone, just as Council patrol ships appeared on their long-range scanners. They made it back to Mars with their Discovery, but the data raised more questions than answers. Something ancient was awakening at the edge of explored space, something the Council knew about but kept hidden. "They don't want us involved," said Taeyong, reviewing the findings. "But why?" "Perhaps they fear what we might do," suggested Jiwoo. "Or perhaps they fear what might happen if this ancient entity meets humans." None of them realized how soon those fears would be tested, or how unprepared the Galactic Council truly was for what was coming. The emergency alarms blared throughout the Galactic Council headquarters. Representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations rushed to the Grand Chamber in various states of panic. Ambassador Jiwoo Park and Admiral Kyungho Baek entered silently, noting the chaos with grim expressions. 3 Council worlds had fallen in less than a week. On the massive display, screens footage showed the devastation. Strange ships, black and angular with pulsing purple energy, moved through planetary defenses as if they weren't there. Energy weapons unlike anything seen before cut through cities and military installations alike. "The Void Collective has awakened," announced High Counselor Tarek, his translucent body dimmer than usual. "After 50,000 years of hibernation, they have returned." A murmur of fear rippled through the chamber. "Who are they?" asked Jiwoo. Counselor Vrex turned to the human delegation, scales flashing red with anger. "This does not concern humans. The Council will handle this threat." 3 worlds are gone," said Admiral Kyungho calmly. "Your forces were ineffective." "How dare you?" hissed Vrex. "Enough," commanded Tarek. "The humans deserve to know." He gestured and historical records appeared on the screens. The Void Collective existed before any of our civilizations achieved space travel. They dominated the galaxy, then mysteriously entered hibernation. We discovered their sleeping forms centuries ago but dared not disturb them. "The energy readings in the Orion sector," said Jiwoo. "This is what you were hiding from us." "We monitored them," admitted Tarek. "But something triggered their awakening. Perhaps your probes or—" "Do not blame humans for your failure," interrupted Kyungho. "Those beings were stirring before we even reached your part of space." More emergency signals flashed across the screens. 2 more worlds under attack. The EDE Council's defense fleet scattered and overwhelmed. "Their tactics are incomprehensible," said the Akron fleet commander. "They attack in patterns we cannot predict. Our battle computers cannot adapt fast enough." Kyungho stepped forward, studying the battle footage closely. "Not incomprehensible to us," he said quietly. All eyes turned to the human admiral. "Explain," demanded Vrex. "These are ancient Earth tactics," said Kyungho. "Asymmetric warfare. Target communication first. Create chaos and fear. Strike where least expected." He pointed to specific movements on the screen. "This is a pincer movement. This is a flanking maneuver. This is a feint to draw out defenders." Silence fell across the chamber as the Council members processed his words. "How can you recognize strategies from a species that existed before humans evolved?" asked Tarek. "Because war follows patterns," replied Kyungho. "We fought ourselves enough to recognize them anywhere." Jiwoo stepped forward. "The Void Collective may have technology beyond ours, but their thinking is something humans understand. We've studied conflict for thousands of years." "What are you suggesting?" asked Tarek. "Let humans lead the defense," said Jiwoo. "Our military thinkers can predict what the collective might do next." Counselor Vrex laughed bitterly. "Give command to the most primitive species in the Council? Absurd." The chamber's lights dimmed suddenly as another emergency report came through. The Council's main defense fleet had been ambushed and destroyed near the Cygnus system. Tarek's form pulsed with distress. 6 systems lost, 4 fleets destroyed. Our conventional tactics are failing. "This is what we feared," whispered an Akron representative. "This is why we studied human warfare. We sensed this coming but didn't know how to prepare. Jiwoo looked at the frightened faces around her. You feared human aggression, yet now you need it. We need a new approach, admitted Tarek. Admiral, Kyung-ho activated his datapad. My staff has already analyzed the collective's movements. We believe they will target these 3 systems next. He displayed a star map with predicted attack vectors. And we have developed potential countermeasures. Using what forces? Asked the Akron commander. Our fleets are in disarray. A combined fleet, said Kyung-ho. Under human tactical command. The council chamber erupted in arguments. Some representatives rejected the idea outright. Others saw no alternative. Finally, Tarek raised his appendages for silence. We face extinction. Pride must yield to survival. He turned to Jiwoo and Kyung-ho. The council grants emergency military authority to human commanders, effective immediately. As the human delegation left to begin preparations, Councillor Vrex approached them. Remember our warning? Vrex asked. Humans fear war, yet cannot seem to avoid it. Yes, replied Jiwoo. I understand now, said Vrex, scales shifting to a blue never seen before. It was not a criticism, it was a prophecy. The alien stepped back. Save us, humans. Do what we cannot. Within hours, Admiral Kyung-ho's commands went out to all remaining council ships. The greatest fleet ever assembled began to form under human direction. The fight for galactic survival had begun. Commander Junho Lee stood on the bridge of the flagship Defiance, watching as ships from 17 different species moved into formation. None of them looked the same. Some were sleek and fast. Others were heavy with weapons. A few were so strange that Junho still couldn't tell their front from their back. But they all followed his orders now. Status report, he called. Lieutenant. Ji-hee Song looked up from her console. All ships report ready, Commander. Dr. Mina's new shield technology has been uploaded to 80% of the fleet. Junyo nodded. And the weapon systems? Online and synchronized, said Ji-hee. Though several council captains still have concerns about our tactics. They'll understand soon enough, Junho replied. On the main screen, the star system of Proxima Centauri glowed. Intelligence reports indicated this would be the Void Collective's next target. If they took this system, they would have a clear path to Earth. Junho activated the fleet-wide communication system. All ships, this is Commander Lee. You've been briefed on your positions and roles. Remember, the Collective expects us to fight. Like the Council has fought for centuries in orderly, predictable patterns, we will not do this. He paused, looking at the battle plan displayed before him. We will be unpredictable, we will be chaotic, we will be human. Lee out. Instead of arranging in the traditional defense formations the Council had used for millennia, the fleet scattered into seemingly random clusters. Some ships powered down to hide among asteroid fields. Others prepared for high-speed attacks. The largest vessels moved to positions that made no sense by conventional tactics. The Council commanders think you've lost your mind, said Ji-hye with a small smile. Good, replied Junho. The Void Collective will think the same. In the science bay of the Defiance, Dr. Mina Yoon made final adjustments to her adaptive shield. Technology. It combined human unpredictability with alien engineering, shields that changed frequency and position constantly, making them harder to target. Will it work? Asked Sungmin Ryu, who had joined the fleet as a tactical advisor. In theory, Mina said. The Council never thought to make their shields randomize. They sought perfect, consistent coverage. And humans know perfection is impossible. In battle, said Sungmin. Exactly, Mina replied. Sometimes chaos is the best defense. The warning sensors flashed red. Long-range scanners detected the Void Collective's fleet emerging from faster-than-light travel. Their black ships, pulsing with purple energy, appeared at the edge of the system. All ships, battle stations, ordered Junho. Execute battle plan, Odysseus. The human name confused many alien captains, but they followed their instructions. The fleet remained hidden and silent as the Collective advanced. The Collective ships moved in the same patterns they had used to destroy Council worlds. Efficient, Mathematical, perfect. They expected to find a conventional defense line, easy, to break through. Instead, they found nothing. "They're confused," said Ji-hye, monitoring the enemy movements. "They're slowing down, spreading out to search." "Now," said Junho. Phase 1. From hidden positions throughout the system, smaller, faster ships suddenly accelerated toward the collective fleet. Not in a direct attack, but in seemingly random paths that cut between enemy vessels. They fired quick bursts of energy before, speeding away. The collective ships turned to pursue, breaking their perfect formation. "Phase 2, ordered Junho. The larger vessels of the combined fleet powered up and moved in from multiple directions, targeting the now separated collective ships with concentrated fire. On the main screen, Junho watched as the battle unfolded exactly as he had planned. The collective tried to reform their lines, but each time they did, human-led attack groups disrupted them again. "Their tactics are too rigid," said Ji-hye. "They haven't adapted in 50,000 years. And we've had to adapt constantly just to survive ourselves," replied Junho. For 6 hours the battle raged. The combined fleet took losses, but far fewer than expected. Dr. Mina's adaptive shields proved effective against the collective's strange weapons. The randomized attack patterns kept the enemy off balance. When it was over, the Void Collective had retreated for the first time since their awakening. In the aftermath, Junho welcomed a delegation of council commanders to the Defiance. They moved through the bridge with a new respect in their eyes. "Your battle plan," said the Akron Fleet commander. "It violated every principle of space combat we have followed for millennia." "Yes," agreed Junho. "Yet it worked perfectly," the alien continued. "How did you know?" Junho gestured to the tactical display showing the battle recording. "We recognize their patterns because humans have used them all before. We also know their weaknesses." As the council representatives left, Junho received a message from Earth. Admiral Kyung-ho had convinced the council to approve a full counteroffensive using human tactics. "The tide is turning," said Ji-hye. "No," replied Junho, looking at the stars, beyond the viewscreen. "The real fight is just beginning." The massive fleet approached the galactic core, where swirling stars created a backdrop of light against the darkness of space. Admiral Kyung-ho Bayek stood on the command deck of the Earth flagship Invincible, watching as ships from 24 species moved in perfect coordination. No council fleet had ever been this large or this diverse. "Final status report," he ordered. "All ships in position," reported Captain Myung-han. "The collective's main force is gathering around the ancient structure, as we predicted." The Void Collective had retreated to their origin point, a massive space station orbiting the supermassive black hole at the galaxy's center. Intelligence suggested this was their last stronghold. "Open channel to all ships," said Kyung-ho. When the communications officer nodded, he began to speak. "This is Admiral Bayek. Today we face the final battle against the Void Collective. Many of you questioned our strategies when we began this campaign. They seemed reckless, even illogical by council standards." He paused, looking at the tactical display showing their unconventional formation. "But now you understand. Humanity's approach to conflict is different, because we evolved differently. We learned to adapt quickly or perish. Today, we will use everything we have learned in our long history of both making and preventing war." Across the fleet, alien crews prepared for battle. Many ships now featured hybrid technologies developed by Dr. Mina Yoon and her team, combining human ingenuity with advanced alien engineering. "Begin Operation Phoenix," ordered Kyung-ho. The fleet split into 3 groups. The largest group moved directly toward the collective structure, a conventional frontal assault that would draw the enemy's attention. But this was merely a distraction. The second group, led by Commander Junho Lee on the Defiance, powered down and drifted silently through the debris field surrounding the black hole, using its gravity to accelerate while remaining hidden. The third group, smallest but most crucial, carried a weapon developed in secret on Earth, a device that could disrupt the unique energy signature of the collective's technology. Ambassador Ji-woo Park stood beside Kyung-ho on the bridge. The council would never have approved this plan. 3 months ago, they would have insisted on a direct honorable confrontation, agreed Kyung-ho, and they would have lost. The battle began as the collective ships moved to meet the frontal assault. Their black vessels fired powerful energy beams that cut through space. But the combined fleet's ships, now equipped with Mina's adaptive shields, took far less damage than expected. Phase 2, ordered Kyung-ho. Junho's group suddenly powered up behind the collective fleet, catching them in a classic pincer movement. The enemy ships tried to turn and fight on 2 fronts, exactly as predicted. They're still using the same tactics, said Jiwoo, even after all our battles. They've never needed to change before, replied Kyung-ho. 50,000 years of victory taught them overconfidence. As the battle intensified, the third group of ships made their approach to the ancient structure. Led by Dr. Mina Yoon on the science vessel Discovery, they carried the disruptor device to the heart of collective power. We're in position, Mina reported over the secure channel. Beginning final approach, the collective, realizing the true threat too late, tried to divert ships to stop them. But the combined fleet pressed harder, keeping the enemy engaged. Activate the disruptor, ordered Kyung-ho. A pulse of energy unlike anything seen before emanated from the Discovery. It spread outward, washing over the collective ships and structure. Their purple energy flickered and faded. Their weapons went silent. The Void Collective, after 50,000 years of dominance, had been defeated by a strategy they couldn't comprehend, one that combined deception, distraction, and unexpected technological innovation. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Council convened in their grand chamber. The mood was solemn but hopeful. We stand at a new beginning, announced High Counselor Tarek. Our understanding of the galaxy, and of each other, has changed forever. Ambassador Jiwoo Park stepped forward when invited to speak. Humans don't love war, she said, looking around at the assembled representatives. We understand it. There's a difference. We study conflict not because we desire it, but because we must know our enemy to defeat it, even when that enemy is ourselves. She gestured to Admiral Kyung-ho and Dr. Mina, who stood nearby. Our human nature, the very thing the Council once feared, proved to be the salvation of all. We brought our unique perspective, our adaptability, our creative chaos to a fight that conventional thinking couldn't win. Counselor Vrex, who had once warned about humanity's dangerous nature, approached the human delegation after the formal session. We must amend our warning about humans, said the alien, scales now a calm blue. Your species fears war, and that is precisely what makes you so formidable when peace is threatened. And what makes us value peace so deeply, added Jiwoo. In the following months, all restrictions on human ships and technology were lifted. Earth became a full member of the Council, with humans now leading a new defense initiative. The Council adopted a new motto, written in the ancient human language of Latin, Si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war, a concept that humans had understood for thousands of years, and that the galaxy now understood as well.